Almost every other day you read the news and it seems like another possible cure for the aging process emerges. Unfortunately, it's not that simple because the way it works in science or with aging research, as soon as you find something that, let's say, deals with one problem of aging, another one pops up. It's like we're all doomed. I mean, it's all, no matter what we do, I mean, you could stay healthy with exercise and diet and all that, and there's a lot of genetic components involved. But the truth is that aging is such a complex thing to deal with that I don't know if you'll ever really find what they call a cure for aging. A lot of people talk about it, but when push comes to shove, this stuff doesn't seem to really work like they say. I mean, they're getting closer to some of the main causes of, let's say, the aging process. But as far as, providing something that, I hear some big talk now by certain people talking about humans living to 150. There was a scientist a couple of years ago who said that the actual human lifespan should average all the way to 150 years. Of course, nobody has ever lived to 150 years. According to the records, the longest living human was a French woman named Jean Calmet. She lived to 122. The last couple of years, she never lost her mind. She never got senile. However, she was blind and deaf for the last couple of years, and she smoked cigarettes all the way until she was 115 years of age. So, I mean, she's a good example of how genetics affect longevity. She didn't really do anything to extend her life, and yet she still lived a pretty long time. But, the topic, what I want to talk about today is one of the causes of some of the effects of aging that is clearly established. It's something called advanced glycation end products. Now, advanced glycation end products are compounds that are formed when sugar combines with protein. In other words, when sugar abnormally increases in protein structures of the body, those structures are said to become glycated. Now, unfortunately, when the sugar kind of it inveigles itself in the protein structures, it weakens the structures. Now, as you see a lot of older people, they're very stiff. They have trouble moving. They talk about aches and pains all over their body. A lot of this has to do with advanced glycation end products that have accumulated and caused damage in their body. I would say, a large majority of what we look at when we see aging, in other words, the obvious signs, the stiffness, the lack of free-flowing movement, I would say that a lot of that is probably related to long-term exposure to advanced glycation end products. These things are made in the body and they're also consumed in foods, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the big debate among scientists is, nobody denies that advanced glycation end products are produced in the body. And the main reason that the thing that causes them to be produced in greater quantities is higher blood glucose levels. Because again, the more sugar you have circulating in your blood, the greater the chance that some of that sugar is going to wind up being pushed into protein structures, and you're going to get a glycation effect. In fact, the main test to determine the onset of diabetes is called hemoglobin A1C. And what this test for is glycation in hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, of course, is the protein pigment that carries oxygen in cells, and the more it becomes full of sugar or glycated, that's an indication of sugar control or diabetes onset. So in other words, this is an example of how glycation happens all the time in the body, but the extent of which determines how much damage there is. And a big debate among scientists is, since we know that glycation occurs all the time in the body, the big debate is how much of the advanced glycation end products you consume in foods is going to affect, your body health. A lot of scientists say that well, they call it advanced glycation end products. I'll call them ages for sure. A lot of scientists say that the amount of ages you consume in food, it's rapidly degraded by enzymes, so it doesn't really cause that much of a problem. Where other scientists say that's wrong, that if you eat a lot of or consume foods that contain a lot of ages, it's going to cause the same problems as if that you get with the endogenous production or the production of ages in the body. So that's still open to debate. But the one thing we know is that ages aren't a good thing. As I said, ages do form in foods that have been exposed to high temperatures in particular. A lot of it has to do with the way you cook it. When you, for example, grilling, frying, toasting, these things tend to promote the formation of ages in food. Unfortunately, the foods most prone to age formation are protein foods. So this video is very relevant to those of us who exercise and consume high protein diets that feature animal protein, because the way you cook or prepare animal protein determines the age's content. And don't worry, this is not going to be some pro-vegan video where I'm telling you to eat vegetables and avoid them. I'm not going to say that. Instead, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a couple of ways to really reduce the production of ages in food so you can still have your animal protein foods and not really worry about it. As I said, your body does have mechanisms to eliminate these ages, and these include antioxidant compounds in the body, and also one of them is called fructosamine. Two of them are enzymes that help to degrade or neutralize ages, and there's also a couple of other antioxidants in the body because one of the ways that ages cause damage is by increasing rampant oxidation in the body. So the body's antioxidant system, which consists of various enzymes such as superoxide dismutase, catalase, and others, they'll also help to minimize the production of ages in the body. Of course, the problem with that is as you get older, your endogenous or your in-body production of natural antioxidant compounds decreases. This is why you see a lot of diseases occur in people when they get older that are not as common in younger people, such as cancer, heart disease. A lot of it has to do with the reduction of protective compounds that protect you when you're young. But again, as you get older, a lot of people don't produce as much, so they become more prone to some of these diseases. When you consume too many ages from food, your body can't keep up with eliminating. Even if you're young, you could still overwhelm the body's protective system. And again, high levels have been known to associated with oxidative stress and inflammation. Also, high levels have been linked to the development of many diseases, including diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, and Alzheimer's, as well as premature aging. And again, the reason for this is this glycation effect weakens tissues, and in the brain, it stimulates the clumping of proteins that's related to Alzheimer's disease. In fact, one of the main benefits of exercise is the fact that it actually reduces sugar in the body. It reduces sugar, lowers your glucose if it's elevated, and by doing so, it also decreases the formation of ages. So, that's a little discussed benefit of exercise. People who have high blood sugar levels, such as those with diabetes, as you might expect, they're at a higher risk of producing too many ages, which can build up in the body. Cooking techniques are also known to promote age formation. Which cooking techniques? Barbecuing, grilling, roasting, baking, frying, sauteing, broiling, searing, and toasting. In other words, anything that uses, rule of thumb, anything that uses dry heat with high temperature is going to promote the formation of ages in food. Dry heat may increase the amount of ages by 10 to 100 times the levels of uncooked foods. Animal foods that are high in fat and protein are more susceptible to age formation during cooking. Again, this is the type of food that a lot of bodybuilders and people involved in fitness consume. Which food? The foods that are highest in ages include meat, especially red meat, certain cheeses, fried eggs, butter, cream cheese, margarine, mayonnaise, oils, and nuts. Fried foods and highly processed products also contain very high levels of ages. The accumulation of ages in the body is associated with Alzheimer's, arthritis, kidney failure, and high blood pressure. One 2009 study examined a group of 559 older women and found those with the highest blood levels of ages were almost twice as likely to die from heart disease compared to those with the lowest amount of ages. Another study found that among a group of individuals who were fat or with obesity, those who had metabolic syndrome is a constellation of symptoms, including high blood pressure, a wider waist, elevated blood levels, and elevated blood glucose levels. Anyway, those with metabolic syndrome had higher blood levels of ages than those who were otherwise healthy. And again, it's probably the higher glucose factor in the metabolic syndrome that increases the formation of ages. Animal and human studies suggest that limiting ages helps protect against many diseases and premature aging. Several animal studies have shown that eating a low-age diet results in a lower risk of heart and kidney disease. It also increases insulin sensitivity, and it lowers the level of ages in blood and tissue by up to 53%. A one-year study, what about humans? A one-year study published in 2018 investigated the effects of a low-age diet in 138 people with obesity. It noted increased insulin sensitivity, a modest decrease in body weight, and lower levels of ages, oxidative stress, and inflammation. The average age consumption in New York, one study showed, is thought to be 15,000 age kilunits per day, which with some people consuming far higher. Again, people who consume a lot of fried food, processed food, heavily cooked food, broiled and high heat food, they're going to have a lot of ages. They're going to be so a high age diet is often referred to anything significantly more than 15,000 kilunits daily, and anything well below this is considered low. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. So how the hell am I supposed to measure kilunits? Well, you don't. There's a simple way of figuring out how much ages you're eating. If you want to get a rough idea, just look at your diet. In other words, if you regularly eat grilled or roasted meat, solid fats, full-fat dairy, and highly processed foods, you're consuming high levels of ages. On the other hand, if you eat a diet rich in plant foods, I know I sound like a vegan advocate now, but the truth is the truth. When you eat fruits and vegetables, especially if you don't cook them, there's no ages. There's no formation of ages. So plant foods such as fruits and vegetables, beans and whole grains, and lower fat dairy foods, and if you consume a little bit less meat, your age levels will probably be lower. If you regularly prepare meals with moist heat, such as soups and stews, you'll also consume lower levels of ages. I don't know anybody who lives on soup and stews, but that's what they say. You can reduce the production of ages in food by not cooking food under high heat, dry conditions. In addition, cooking meat with acidic ingredients such as vinegar, tomato juice, or lemon juice can reduce age production by up to 50%. It also reduces the production of certain compounds that are produced in meat under high heat conditions that are known carcinogens. Cooking over ceramic surfaces rather than directly on metal can also reduce age production. Slow cookers are thought to be one of the healthiest ways to cook food. Fried and highly processed foods contain higher levels of ages. Certain foods, such as animal foods, also tend to be higher in ages. And again, these include meat, cheese, fried eggs, butter, cream cheese, margarine, mayonnaise, oils, and nuts. Now, what can you do to help prevent age formation in the body and also the effect of ages consumed in food? Well, antioxidant nutrients help a lot. This includes vitamin C, E, any of the antioxidant minerals, zinc, all of them. Any nutrient that has antioxidant action will neutralize a large amount of ages and prevent any damage that can occur in the body. There are other supplements such as phenol compounds such as curcumin and resveratrol found in grapes and red wine. They also blunt the formation of ages. Two particular nutrients are really effective at preventing the damage induced by ages. One of them is called carnosine. Carnosine, those of you who take beta-alanine supplements, beta-alanine is a precursor for carnosine. Carnosine is one of the primary acid buffers found in muscle, And when you take beta alanine, it combines with another amino acid already found in muscle called histidine. And beta alanine and histidine, when they bond together, that's carnosine. So carnosine is produced in the body, but in the brain, it has a very powerful effect at preventing the formation of ages in the brain. And carnosine is an extremely potent age blocker. Now, the controversy about carnosine is that there's an enzyme in the blood called carnosinase that just as soon as it bumps into ingested carnosine that you ingested, let's say in a supplement, it converts the carnosine back into beta alanine and histidine, which of course eliminates the carnosine antioxidant activity and all that. However, there are some studies show that if you take a dose of carnosine, about 1,000 milligrams, you get enough carnosine activity. It's enough to kind of, it overwhelms that enzyme, the carnosine enzyme, so you still get some carnosine benefit. And as I said, carnosine is probably the number one blocker of ages in the body. It's very protective. Another nutrient that will help a lot is a form of the B vitamin thiamine called benfotiamine. Benfotiamine, whereas thiamine or vitamin B1 is normally a water-soluble nutrient, which means that it can be, you can take it with a glass of water, it'll be absorbed. So same with vitamin C and a couple others. But benfotiamine is unique because it's both water and fat soluble. And one of the benefits there is that benfotiamine can enter, let's say, fatty membranes, cellular membranes, and it offers protection against ages damage to cells. So benfotiamine is also a very good protective nutrient against age-induced damage in the body. Unfortunately, benfotiamine cannot get into the brain. However, carnosine can. So, those two nutrients, I would say, stand foremost among any of the other nutrients to help protect you against ages. So, and the final thing I'd say about ages is exercise. Exercise alone will help reduce ages. They've shown that in human studies, when people walk more, they've tested them, they produce far less ages than if they're sedentary. Sedentary people, even if they don't consume a lot of these cooked or grilled foods or the foods I mentioned, if they don't move, they're still going to get a pretty good age buildup. Just from being sedentary, you get a large buildup of ages, and it is going to accelerate the aging process greatly. So, I think there's a lot more to say about ages. It affects so many processes in the body that I am going to have an article in my Applied Metabolics newsletter where I include a lot more information than I was able to present in this video. This video is just basically an overview about ages. I think that it's important to know the existence of this stuff because, again, a lot of the foods and the way foods are prepared that are commonly consumed by people involved in bodybuilding and fitness. And you should know that a lot of these foods are promoting these ages formation in the body, which sooner or later are going to catch up with you. They're going to cause a lot of aging and possibly disease causation. But again, there's ways around it, as I mentioned in this video. So that's about it for ages. If you want more information on nutrition, exercise science, hormonal therapy, anti-aging research you can use today, fat loss techniques that really work, ergogenic aids. Did I say hormonal therapy? I don't know if I did. Exercise science, women's health and fitness, supplement truths, which supplements work, which ones don't. I'm not involved with any supplement company, so I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to tell you the truth. And one big feature about my Applied Metabolics newsletter, all of this is in my Applied Metabolics newsletter, but one big feature about it is that unlike a lot of the people that have digital publications, none of them has been around as long as I have and it's studied as much as I have. I have 58 years of study and empirical experience in the gym and also an independent study, so I can't be matched. And I'm not trying to say I'm a genius or put a halo over my head. I'm just saying that experience counts, and no amount of academic education can equal intelligent experience, and that's what I'm going to put, or what I do put, in my Applied Metabolics newsletter. It's 40 to 50 pages every month. There's no ads. I'm not trying to sell you anything except solid evidence-based information. If you subscribe, I will send you an invitation to join my private Applied Metabolics Facebook page, where every day I post new information on nutrition, exercise, science, general medicine, and health. That's only open to subscribers. I do have an email portal on my Applied Metabolics site, email portal. It's only for current subscribers. They're welcome to submit short questions, which I'll be happy to answer only to subscribers. I don't answer unsolicited questions. You're welcome to list comments and questions under this video or any of my videos. I don't guarantee that I'll answer them. Occasionally I do, but most cases I don't have the time. But I do always answer questions from current subscribers. So that's about it. If you want to have the best friend you'll ever have, go to your local shelter, adopt a dog. Adopt a dog, which a little editorial here. I speaking of aging, I think one of the real mistakes made by God is to give dogs relatively short lives. Some dogs live longer than others. Smaller dogs tend to live longer than larger dogs. A lot of it has to do with the fact that smaller dogs produce less IGF-1. But without getting into that, let me just say that dogs to me are like little angels. I love every type of dog, and they're just so loyal. It's literally in their genetic makeup to be man's best friend. And somehow it just doesn't seem right that they have such short lives. I just wish there was a way of making them live as long as we humans do, because no human, no matter what your relationship is ever going to be as good a friend to you and as loyal to you as your dog. So go to your local shelter and save a dog. Thank you.